It's 9 o'clock, but we're going to wait until our technology is good. Are we good? Okay. Happy New Year and welcome to the first meeting of the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners for 2026. This is our organizational meeting. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. We're going to have an invocation by Commissioner Barry, followed by the pledge led by Commissioner Rhodey.
I'll take a deep breath and pause and take a moment to give thanks for a new year, a new beginning. We give thanks for all the members on the board and the people that they represent in their districts. Be with us as we meet today. Give us patience and guidance and wisdom. And we give thanks for all the blessings we have living in Ottawa County. All this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll this morning. Mr. Barry.
Here.
Mr. Jortsma.
Here.
Mr. Zylstra.
Here.
Mr. Bonema.
Here.
Mr. Moss.
Here.
Mrs. Wenzel.
Here.
Mr. Teeples. Mrs. Rhodey.
Here.
Mr. Kyers.
Here.
Mr. Bruger.
Here.
And Mrs. Miedema. And we do have a quorum. We do not have correspondence this morning. I would like to open it up to our first opportunity for public comment. And members of the public have 3 minutes. And if you could just state your name and jurisdiction as you come up. Is there any public comment this morning?
Good morning. My name is Ruth Stegeman. I live at 156 West 11th Street in Holland. And I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words. I'd like to speak to this commission's February 2025 resolution, which supported continued operation of the J.H. Campbell plant. I can see where, at the time, your resolution made some sense. It is better to err on the side of caution if the implications are unclear. However, now, with 3 federal emergency operation orders under our belt, the consequences of continued operation of the plant are clear. Consumers Energy is reporting an uncompensated cost of $615,000 per day. Sooner or later, that cost is going to be passed on to the ratepayers. We know from the United Way Alice report that 37% of Ottawa County residents are having a hard time covering all their bills. The U.S. Energy Information Agency is forecasting a 3% rise in winter electrical bills for our area. And that's on top of the fact that Michigan has already some of the highest electric rates in the Great Lake region. Add some portion of that $615,000 per day on top of this, and these households are more at risk. As you know, coal plants are more expensive to run than replacing them with renewable and clean energy. If you are concerned about the supply of energy in our county, which I know you are, expanding solar and wind energy is the way to go, including innovations like community solar and balcony solar. Clean energy, which is also cheap energy, could produce results that your citizens need and would lead to a lower energy burden for people in poverty, better health, and sustainability. I know that you as commissioners don't have much leverage with the DOE. However, the withdrawal of your February 2025 resolution can show that you stand up for your constituents. You can make it clear that West Michigan conservative values and your commitment to good governance haven't changed. Local people making well-informed decisions are still the best roadmap to success. Please rescind your February 2025 resolution, which supported continued operation of the Campbell plant. And thank you kindly for considering my perspective.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else for public comment?
Good morning, County Commissioners. My name is Nathan Olson, and I reside at 333 Nestlewood Drive, Holland, Michigan. I'm here today asking that the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution withdrawing its February 25th, 2025 resolution that called upon the Michigan Public Service Commission to delay the closure of the J.H. Campbell coal-fired power plant. I'm asking this because I'm concerned about the negative health consequences of burning coal and because there are now available mature, clean energy resources which can cost-effectively replace the coal. The Michigan clinicians of climate action say that as long as Campbell and other coal-fired power plants keep polluting the air, Michiganders will continue to suffer immediate and long-term health consequences. MICCA, citing coal burning power plants are a major source of fine particulate matter air pollution, highlights that pollution as a focus of concern because it can penetrate deep into the lungs and even enter the bloodstream. Fine particulate matter is linked to a myriad of respiratory, cardiovascular, and neurological issues, they report. The Clean Air Task Force reports that the annual health toll of the Campbell Power Plant is 44 deaths, 24 acute bronchitis events, 455 asthma attacks, 10 asthma-induced ER visits, 4 hospital admissions, 18 heart attacks, and 2,203 lost days of work. And I repeat, that is annually. Other clinicians point out that health is not a standalone issue. These unnecessary medical events clog already overburdened healthcare systems, stress family budgets, negatively impact school performance, and contribute to lost productivity. Your action as a commission is necessary in order to prevent these documented and unnecessary outcomes. I'm asking that you adopt the new resolution, withdrawing your earlier resolution, which supported continued operation of the Campbell Power Plant. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public comment?
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to address the commission. My name is Robert Giroux and I reside at 4730 Pony Lane, Holland, Michigan. I'm here today not, as my address indicates, as a resident of Ottawa County, my house being roughly a quarter mile south of the border in Allegan County, but as a consumer power customer and ratepayer. I'm here today asking the Board of Commissioners to adopt a resolution withdrawing its February 25th, 2025 resolution that called upon the Michigan Public Service Commission to delay the closure of the Campbell plant. In my 70 plus years on this planet, the Republican Party of West Michigan has delivered on good governance. A key component of this success has been a belief that government should respect the work of the private business community, providing public sector encouragement and support where and when appropriate. I find that principle nowhere in the 2025 resolution of this board. Frankly, I'm at a loss to understand why this board, comprised almost exclusively of Republican office holders, would abandon a standard of governance that has served them and the community so well in the past. I understand that this resolution at the time might have sounded like common sense, a hedge against potential power shortages at peak times, especially during summer months. I suspect that some of you may still be under that false impression. How do I know this is a false assumption? Because professionals at Consumers Power and the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, MISO, a regional transmission organization that manages the bulk electric grid in the Midwest, have said so. They're in the business of providing reliable energy to their customers and a good return on investment to their shareholders. They made the decision to close the plant after careful study of future power needs with an eye to the most efficient way to provide that power. I ask this commission to respect the work of those in the business best positioned to know what is best for them and their customers. Which brings me back to why I'm here. Your February 25, 2025 resolution provides evidence of local support to those with the power to force consumers' power to keep this outdated, unneeded, and dirty health hazard open. For my part as a customer, your actions encourage a policy that costs me and my fellow ratepayers $615,000 per day, according to Consumers Power. To me, that's all cost with nothing to gain. A bad bargain indeed. So please take the small step to rescind your prior resolution and stand with your constituents who have better things to do with that money. Absent that, I ask this commission to put your money where your speech is and pass a resolution committing Ottawa County government to cover the $615,000 per day cost of your current policy position. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public comment this morning? Do you have any online public comment? All right, and the next item on the agenda today is the resolution for the adoption of a adoption of a resolution for a one-year term of office for the board chairperson. Do we have a motion for that?
Support.
Mr. Moss, support.
Mr. Clerk?
Discussion?
For sure. Thank you. Appreciate that. I just want to talk about the third clause real quick. There are a couple of things that, are concerning me on that one. First, it reads as if the resolution itself is electing the chair when it says is hereby elected, when in fact it's the board's election that does that, right? So these are two separate actions and I think should be kept separate. The second has to do with the last clause of that phrase when it says upon the election of a chairperson in January 2027. Our board rules are pretty clear. It says that the clerk presides over the organizational meeting as he's presiding today. It says until a chairperson is elected. And it does that precisely to prevent a holdover situation that fundamentally doesn't make sense to me. I know the resolution has consistently said something slightly different, as does our board rules. But if you accept that language, then you have a direct conflict. If a sitting chair is not reelected or had not run for reelection for the next term, they would no longer be a board member on January 2. Yet the resolution would have them serving as chair until their successor is elected. I don't think that makes sense. If you insist on that language, you have to accept that Matt Fensky, for example, was chair on January 3, 2023, or you'd have to accept that Commissioner Moss was chair in January of this year. I don't think any of us would agree with those two statements, correct? So I think the clearest and safest approach is to make the chair's term coterminous with commissioner terms and with the calendar year in the following way, so that the clause reads, be it further resolved that the term of the chair shall begin upon election and shall end December 31, 2026. That's my motion.
Support.
2027. 2027. Oh,
December
sorry.
31, did I say 27?
No, sorry. My
December 31, 2026.
my mistake. Yeah, 2026.
I know, it's always second day of the year, so, but yeah.
So we have a motion to amend the motion that's on the floor, making changes to that language. And can you just state that?
You want me to repeat the language?
That would be great.
Great,
Thanks.
thank you. Be it further resolved that the term of the chair shall begin upon election and shall end December 31, 2026. In my mind, that solves both the problems, both of the resolution seeming to elect the chair, which I don't think any of us agree with, and bringing the chair over into January 2027, which, you give those examples that does not make sense to me, so.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and so we do have the motion was made by Commissioner Zastra and the second was made by Commissioner Moss. Is there any discussion?
Commissioner.
Oh, I'm
Moon.
sorry.
Think.
I apologize.
Yep.
Commissioner Miedema, any discussion on that?
Yeah, I've got a couple comments on it. So Doug and I have briefly talked about this and I brought it up too. I think that paragraph, the first resolution is also problematic. Because number one, we haven't elected the chair at this point. And so having it on the agenda before we elect the chair doesn't make sense to me. But I also don't think there is a problem in our board rules that needs to get fixed, right? 2.3 and 4.2 are inconsistent, or at least give the impression of an ambiguity about how long the chair serves. There's a fundamental and practical reason why the chair should never end at December 31 prior to the organizational meeting. In my view, and given my experience now, the county should never be without a chair, period. And I'll give you an example. The chair is, and this is something I've learned, the chair is the last person to authorize emergency shutdowns in the county. If there's an emergency shutdown between December 31 and the organizational meeting, who makes that call on the emergency call for the county? There isn't anybody if the chair doesn't sit. So while the board rules say that the clerk is the designee for the organizational meeting, no problem, right? No problem. But to say that the chair ends on the December 31 is a problem as a practical matter for the county, safety issue, right? Now, the board rules say that, and that's where the conflict is. So in my mind, there's a sentence in the board rules, the last sentence of 4.2 that needs to be deleted because it creates that calendar year cutoff that needs to be taken out. The other rule, 2.3, is fine, all right? So what I would say on this is that, so there are two concepts. One, if you have a term, an elected official serving through until the organizational meeting is how it should be, except if your elected term ends, right? You're elected and you lose your office, you can't serve after the end of your office, right? So there's two concepts to be considered there. In this case, I would say that in this resolution that we simply delete that first resolution in total, right? Doesn't change anything. Our board rules still speak to what it is. Otherwise, it should be made clear that you serve until the next calendar year, until the next chairman is elected at the organizational meeting, or until you lose your office. But if you lose your office, then we still have a gap, right? And that can't happen in Ottawa County. So we have an issue, and it's a safety issue in that little interim gap between, if we had a storm last night and the chair had ended December 31, we would have a problem in Ottawa County. So that's why the calendar, it can't be set on the calendar year, in my mind.
Just a quick response to that. You know, I think, you know, we have emergency management here in Ottawa County and, you know, without getting the weeds of state statute, it's, you know, it's pretty clear that effectively the emergency manager, along with the chair, and I think probably in large part, the emergency manager himself is the one who would declare that. And, you know, the chair would be the voice for that. I don't think the problem of not having a chair who declares, quote unquote, an emergency outweighs the idea that, you know, for example, in Commissioner Moss's case, he didn't lose his office. He's obviously still right here, right? But his term as chair ended. And if we continued over, he would have been the chair until the organizational meeting. So that doesn't solve that problem, right?
No, it should have. I mean, Joe would have been the chair, even if he should have been the chair up until the new last year, right? Until we had this organizational meeting and hired, you should have been the chair for that reasons. And that's just one of the examples I'm giving as to justify as to why there shouldn't be a term ending for the chair.
Okay. I see your point. But, you know, if we look at the resolution itself, the resolution talks about, you know, MCL 46.3 and the whole idea of a 2-year term, right? So, you know, my understanding of that amendment back in 2000 was you had boards who couldn't elect a new chair at the beginning of the new year, and they were leaderless, right? And so the legislator looked at that and said, look, you have boards that don't have leaders. They can't elect a leader. So maybe the best solution is to have 2-year terms instead of 1-year terms. The legislature didn't say, oh, well, let's give them the ability to hold over their chair from the previous year. They recognized that boards were leaderless as of December 31st. And their solution was to say, let's just give them the ability to have 2-year terms. I think legislative intent on this very amendment that we're looking at points to the fact that there is assumption that December 31 is the end date. They looked at possible options. They did not say, you know what, we're going to give boards the option to hold over their chairs until they get a successor. They didn't say that. They said, we're going to give them the option to have 2-year chairs, and that's going to be the solution. So I think the intent of the very resolution we're looking at points to the assumption that terms end on December 31st. And the legislature did not say, well, here's an option. Keep your chair as long as you can, and as long as you need them, right? So I think, both practical reality, Matt Bensky can't be chair in January 3, 2023. And the very resolution we're talking about point to the fact that terms end on December 31st. There is a gap. I understand you have certain emergency manager powers, but we do have an emergency manager who can easily take care of that. We do have a clerk who can publish that. We do have sheriff. I see what you're saying, but I think that's a very, small risk. And I think it's easily compensated for with the idea of emergency manager versus the idea of legislature said, you're leaderless, here's the solution. Plus you have the problem of, Matt Bensky, Chairman Moss. I think it all points to December 31 should be our end date.
So if I can respond to that. So the legislation you're referring to doesn't contemplate that we have 4-year terms instead of 2. So right there, the legislation is.
Well, it was 2000, so.
Is out of it's out of whack, right? It's not consistent. But even if it was, even the fact that is, say, a 2-year term, we as a board have said, look, we only serve 1 year max, and you can serve a total of 2 years during the 4-year term. That's what we agreed to last year, right? So I understand that, but that risk, Doug, because of the emergency power authority, how can we just simply say that it's a minor risk to the county when
I didn't say it's a minor risk. We have an emergency manager. We have a clerk with office with the ability to publish pronunciation.
But it's statutorily, and look, all I'm told, I haven't looked at the statute. All I was told is this year is that the chairman has to make the final call, right? That the emergency manager. So how it works is that the sheriff patrol guys call the sheriff during the night, say there's a problem. The sheriff calls the administrator, and then ultimately the call comes in to the chair. So, and that's the emergency managing process of the county. Joe, am I wrong on that?
No, you're correct. I have a comment. So if we go back to the actual language of the resolution, we're talking about that first, be it further resolved. So what if it read, be it further resolved, the term of the chairperson of the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners shall be 1 year, starting upon the election of the chairperson in January of 2026 and ending on the date of the following year's organizational meeting or at the end of the commissioner's elected term, whichever is first.
We're going to have to add something in there then that the administrator and the clerk and the sheriff and the
So that should
would be for emergency management. We'd have to add that in there so we're covered.
So that should be done outside of this resolution. This resolution is simply related to a term for a 1-year chair, which has to be passed or should be passed before we elect a chair. And this would allow, someone to hold the position of, you might call it chair in name only, right? Next January 1 or 2 or whatever it is, which I see the, to Doug's point, that it makes sense that it ends on the 31st. I completely see that. But but to John's point, having someone serve as the chair for a day is not a problem the following year. But chair for a day or
If I may jump in.
I have a couple, I have a couple comments. So if we did something like you're suggesting, I think it should not be the day of the organizational meeting. It should be like at the opening of the organizational meeting.
Right, good point.
To Commissioner Ziles' just point that the prior chair should not be running the next meeting.
Right.
So it should be at the opening of the organizational meeting. In regards to the emergency management, I do see that point. I do see that risk. But I shouldn't say but another way of addressing that, which is not a convenient way, but is when you look at, for instance, New York City, they had an election, and as soon as the next year rolled over, they actually had Mayor Mondami take his oath of office like immediately, and he was installed and in place. So that would be the alternative, is that we have an organizational meeting at the beginning of the new year. So again, not convenient. So I think your suggestion, Joe, is probably the best way to go, but having that term end at the opening of this meeting.
If I
But
may-
it doesn't clear up the term.
Right, just a couple of points. And I know, Kent County resolves this by having the chair elections sometimes in December, right? And that would, kind of go to your point. To the emergency management point, I mean, I see what you're saying, John, but is it true that the chair is available 24/7, 365 days a year to make that pronouncement?
That's the
Or do
purpose.
we rely on, the clerk if you're not available, say, like, I assume that you are not on the grid 365 days, 24/7, right? So I
No.
think that we recognize that, there may be moments that the chair is not available to do that, and we have an administrator, we have a clerk, we have a sheriff, we need be, right? We have emergency management, so.
If I could support what you're saying in a way, Doug.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the county has a lot of staff. We have administrator and everyone else. What John is talking about is the law that states that to actually establish an emergency, the chair is the final call. Not to downplay the importance of that, but we're talking about a risk that doesn't really carry a lot of actual risk. The sheriff's department is not going to not act because a chair didn't make a call in one day. Just imagine a similar situation where in February there's an unbelievable snowstorm and there's an emergency situation, and these emergencies are very rare. But let's say this emergency situation happens. Well, if John had gone to, or the chair had gone to the Bahamas and was unable to be reached for 24 hours, the sheriff's department is still going to do everything they need to do, and emergency management will still do what they need to do. So we probably should not put, quibble over such, put so much time into this, and just change the wording a little bit and move on.
I'd like to jump in if I may. I think we've identified a problem in our rules, and I think it needs to be addressed, but trying to fix this as we're launching this meeting feels a little bit like repairing the airplane as it's on the runway. I would like to take this to committee. Some of these decisions have unintended consequences. As just in the brief discussion here, we're kind of thinking, oh, well, what about this and what about that? And I'd like to take a little more thoughtful approach to trying to fix the problem that's been identified.
Do you mind if I amend the motion then to kind of maybe capture that? Just leave off any discussion of end date for right now. Does that work?
I think we're talking about changing the wording in this resolution.
Right,
Anything
I mean-
else that has to go to committee or board rules, all that stuff, those are secondary issues, guys.
Right.
Like they should be done, but we should focus on the exact issue at hand here. Do we need to change this language or not?
I think in the election case, I think we're all in agreement, right? This resolution doesn't elect anybody, so that needs to be changed.
If we pass another resolution, it supersedes this one anyway, so we can just do that. We can pass this one and then pass another one, and it would supersede this one.
Okay, I guess just the idea was to take off all mention of end date and just fix the obvious problem and discuss end date at some other point, right?
I think
Right.
Joe's motion was perfect, and then with Sylvia's, little adjustment,
You want me to reread it?
couldn't be better. I thought it hits the objectives.
So is this official motion then to
I-
amend
So-
the amendment? It's tradition. We like doing it.
Doug, would you be willing to withdraw your motion so I could make this other one?
You can just amend mine. It's fair game.
It'll
so
save a vote.
whatever you want to do. What was your motion again?
It would be to change out that, be it further resolved to say, the term of the chairperson of the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners shall be 1 year, starting upon the election of the chairperson in January of 2026 and ending at the beginning of the following year's organizational meeting or the end of the commissioner's elected term, whichever is first.
Before anybody seconds that, can we get rid of the dates so that this can stand forever?
No, because we do it every year.
We're gonna do this one
Yeah.
every year regardless, so we need the 26th. Got
Yeah,
it.
that's okay. I know it's not exactly what you're looking for, but it's pretty close. Because the term of the chair then ends upon the organizational meeting and the clerk will handle the meeting.
What would happen in your situation though last year?
Same thing. So technically I'd be chair for what, January 2 or whatever, or 1. And then as soon as we get back for board business, the chair position is then vacated
At the start of this meeting.
at the start of the meeting, at the beginning of the following year's organizational meeting.
It's really not even a risk because we
No.
wouldn't be able to do any business of the board without having the organizational meeting in the first place.
I mean, I prefer that, if you want to amend my motion, then
Okay.
do that.
So I would like to make that motion then.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Moss and a second by Commissioner Georgezma to amend the amendment to Commissioner Zylstra's amendment, essentially stating, I'm just going to read what I have just to make it clear. Or would you mind, do you have it?
I could
in
read it,
writing,
yeah.
Commissioner, thank you.
The term, so this would replace that first be it further resolved. So it's the term of the chairperson of the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners shall be 1 year, starting upon the election of the chairperson in January of 26 and ending at the beginning of the following year's organizational meeting or the end of the commissioner's elected term, whichever is first.
All right, thank you. I'm going to take a quick roll call on that. Mrs. Rhodey,
Yes.
Mr. Bruger,
Yes.
Mr. Zylstra,
No.
Mr. Bonema,
Yes.
Mrs. Wenzel,
Yes.
Mrs. Medema,
Yes.
Mr. Moss,
Yes.
Mr. Georgezma,
Yes.
Mr. Kyers,
Yes.
Mr. Barry.
Yes.
Bulls.
Yes.
All right, and that motion passes. That leads us to the amended motion from Commissioner Zylstra, which states essentially that the term of the chair shall begin upon election, and shall end 12/31/2026.
No,
Did I
that
get
motion
right?
is.
No, he amended
died.
No, we amended.
Joe's
amended.
motion superseded
Oh,
mine.
for some reason, I
Yeah.
did not catch that part of it.
Yeah, so he amended my motion and that amendment passed. So my motion is now amended to be basically Joe's motion.
We could probably do voice vote on it.
Let's do a voice vote.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Of what?
Aye.
All right.
What?
But,
The amended motion.
okay, so typically okay, so let's go back to the original.
I made the motion December 31. Joe made some adjustments to that. Those adjustments held. So therefore, my 31 language disappeared and his amendment holds.
Gotcha.
And
All
we
right.
can, we
So
just.
why don't we go back
Since
to
we
the
voted on his amendment, we
original
don't need- now I think the
resolution
next vote is
vote.
just on the whole resolution.
Correct.
Unless anybody has any thoughts about anything else. I mean, Commissioner Bruger actually brought up a really good point about the annual nature of this, because if you look at the first clause, it talks about never and always, which are confusing to me. But if we're bringing up this resolution every year, it doesn't matter. Do you see what I'm saying or no?
Statement of intention.
Yeah, if it's every year, I mean, it says every chairperson shall always serve 1 year term. I'm not sure what every and always are doing there, But if they're just filler, then I got no problem with
I,
that. Did you catch the
I
same thing?
noticed the same thing and
I think we did it last year and, Counselor Jordan put it in there and it could just be filler. And it seems like it is because we're rolling it over this year. I thought, oh, this is one done, but it's not one and done. So I'm fine with that. Do you get that,
Always.
Josh?
Sorry, I'm just catching up here.
I think it's just a statement of intention.
Yeah, I think so. Now that I see it in the second year's agenda.
Yep.
The first time I saw it, I thought, well, are we just doing this one time only and then forgetting about it? It doesn't seem as if that's the case.
As you were talking, Doug, what popped into my head was your amended resolution by Joe does reference until they lose or unless they lose their seat, whichever comes first, as a non-issue. That was an attempt to make it something that we didn't have to mess with all the time.
Right.
But the reality is, there's not an election this year, so nobody's losing their seat. So that superfluous addition. I don't think we need to remove it.
Yeah.
I actually like it because it gives the future board, the opportunity to utilize that language when there is an election year. So
I think it's probably the word always that throws.
Yeah,
me off
that
a
kind of
little
threw me
bit.
off, but I think,
Mhm.
fine, since we're seeing this twice in a row, I think
Yeah.
we're good. So I think the overall resolution, unless anybody has, I'm fine, ready to go.
Is there any other discussion on the resolution itself before we vote on that?
Could we just do one official vote on the amended motion? We did?
We did.
Okay.
The way I understood it is we voted to amend Doug's motion. Now we have to vote on
Doug's
whether to add the amendment to the original
Correct.
resolution.
Yep.
yes,
That'd be
And
great.
then we have to vote on the resolution as amended.
yes.
Votes.
Yeah,
Yep, that is correct.
But we made it.
which I think is what you were trying to do.
Yes.
Or we
Yeah,
stopped
my
it.
apologies
About
for, yeah.
I think it was just
the
confusion
in
called
the,
it Doug's motion.
I didn't understand that that was melding your amendment into one
Sorry.
amendment.
Sorry.
No, no worries.
New
So-
year, 9 o'clock, so.
We're gonna vote to add the amended language as stated in Commissioner Moss's motion, which passed, into the resolution itself, and then we're gonna vote on the resolution. So the first vote we're gonna take is gonna be a voice vote on adding the amended language based on Commissioner Moss's motion into the resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that motion passes. The next vote that we're going to take is for the resolution. Any other discussion before we move on? Commissioner Barry,
Yes.
Mr. Barry, Mr. Joritsma,
Yes.
Mr. Zylstra.
No.
Mr. Bonema,
Yes.
Mr. Moss,
Yes.
Mrs. Wenzel, Mr. Teeples,
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey,
Yes.
Mr. Kyers,
Yes.
Mr. Bruger,
Yes.
and Mrs. Medema.
Yes.
All right, that motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the election of a temporary chair who is going to preside over the election of the permanent board chair for 2026. Do we have any nominations for the election of a temporary
To
chairperson?
nominate Phil Kyers.
All right, Commissioner Teeples has nominated Commissioner Kyers. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion passes. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Mr. Kyers. All yours.
Super. Thank you, Justin.
Hey, Justin did make that for 41
45
minutes.
seconds.
He's milking it.
Longest term.
Yeah.
Be longer, okay?
Right.
I have a motion for the chairperson for the Ottawa County Board.
Yes, I would motion to nominate Commissioner Allison Medema to be the chairperson.
Is there any other nominations?
I nominate Josh Bruger.
Is there any other nominations?
I'll be nominating myself. Thank you.
Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? This time the nominations are closed. Mr. Clerk, Justin?
But if I could speak to.
Sure, I mean,
to
yeah, I
that.
can speak to all, yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. So I am nominating Commissioner Miedema because she has a desire to provide leadership to this county and to this board. And she has proven herself to be a very wise commissioner, diligent and really digging into issues and understanding them, and is a fierce advocate for all of the constituents in this county. And so for that reason, I think she would make an outstanding leader for this board.
Thank you. Could I add on to that, Commissioner Kyers?
Yes, please.
I would certainly appreciate and take very seriously the opportunity to lead the county. And if not elected in this particular role as chair, I would also be willing to serve as vice chair. As I've already shared with several of you in the board, it seems that there is a desire in our community for our board to work in a more unified manner. We're no longer in 2021. We're no longer in 2023. We get to decide how we want to begin working together in 2026. And if I was elected as chair or vice chair for that matter, I would work with the administrator to increase transparency amongst all of us as the board, as well as with constituents. And I would be available to each one of you and to make sure that all voices on this board are heard and valued, as well as your ideas that would be allowed to be brought forward. And so certainly would appreciate the opportunity. So.
Any other comments? Commissioner Doster?
Yeah, no, I mean, you were all elected for your districts, and as chair, I would like to be able to make sure you're able to do that, right? By ensuring you have the resources and information you need to succeed, and, you know, for the board as a whole to succeed. Having served as a commissioner for the past 7 years, you know, I've learned from chairs I worked with, Commissioner Moss and Commissioner Tebows, as well as Commissioner Fensky and Commissioner Bergman. I've seen what works well. I've seen where we need to improve or we can improve. And I'd like to use that knowledge and experience to lead with even-handedness, consistency, and support for each individual commissioner so that this board as a whole can be the best it can be. I thank you for your consideration and, you know, appreciate the opportunity of your vote.
Any other comments at this time? Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to make a couple comments about Josh. So obviously I've worked really, really closely with Josh this year. He's tireless. He's absolutely committed to the betterment of Ottawa County. He gets along very well with people. And he's a strategic thinker. He's a long-term thinker. He's a planner. I appreciate his foresight into issues and his prudency. So, I mean, I could go on, but I think he's the best person to lead us going into the new year.
Any other comments at this time?
I would just add, I don't know about tireless. I got off an airplane at 2:20 this morning. So I'm kind of tired, but I appreciate the comments, John. Thank you.
Any other comments at this time? Clerk Justin, please call the roll.
All right, I'm going to just call through and then you can state the name of the stated commissioner as we go through the roll. Mr. Barry,
Commissioner Bruger.
Mr. Joritzma,
Josh Bruger.
Mr. Zylstra,
Zylstra.
Mr. Bonema,
Commissioner Josh Bruger.
Mr. Moss,
Miedema.
Mrs. Wenzel,
Miedema.
Mr. Teeples,
Josh Bruger.
Mrs. Rhodey,
Commissioner Miedema.
Mr. Kyers,
Mr. Josh Bruger.
Mr. Bruger,
Bruger.
Mrs. Miedema.
Miedema.
And congratulations, Mr. Bruger. You have received the majority of the votes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you all for your support. Does that mean I'm leading the meeting now?
As you are leading the meeting, you can
Probably should
step into
move.
the. chair.
Wow.
I would
I would-
like-
Yeah. Are you gonna step willingly or do we need to vote?
There's a
Yes?
gavel over here.
All right.
Joe always reminded me of
Yeah, you
sitting there.
gotta get over this spot.
Slide over. Allison, are you gonna slide over or are you?
I'll stay here.
The germs are probably. I appreciate the gavel is here. I hope like John to not use it, although I have used one in the past and it is quite fun to hit that down. So maybe one time at the end of the year. Hey, listen, I do apologize. I have a terrible cold. I did actually, I guess a tireless commitment to Ottawa County is true. I got on a plane that was delayed 2 hours, left Miami, Florida at midnight or at 11:30 last night, landed at 2:30 in the morning in Grand Rapids, and then drove through the snowstorm to get home, where I think I fell asleep, but all I remember is the alarm going off in the morning. So that's the explanation. That's fatigue, and then also I picked up a cold. Listen, my comments are brief. We do have an opportunity, I believe, as a board, to focus forward on what's next for Ottawa County. We have spent the last year, and the prior board spent 2 years, kind of in a reactionary phase to what preceded both boards. And I won't belabor what preceded. I like to move forward as much as possible. But we actually have an opportunity now that a lot of the past is done, it's been addressed, that we can move on as a board and focus forward on what is important for Ottawa County and Ottawa County residents. We do have an organizational meeting, provided the calendar is approved a little bit later here on the 13th, not an organizational, excuse me, a special meeting on the 13th, where we'll talk about appointments, I hope, because I don't have those prepared. I didn't want to be presumptuous as to assume that I would be in this role, as well as standing committees. And then we've got some board rule changes to look at on the 13th as well, along with the CMH big decision that we have to make. All that to say, we may have a few things that we have to address from learning from the last year, the last 3 years in Ottawa County, and I hope those will all be addressed on the 13th. And at that point, we can move forward as a county to work collaboratively among those members of this board, recognizing that we represent over 300,000 people. And I do believe that I've been reading a lot about the American dream lately, and I do believe it is still possible. It is still definitely possible in Ottawa County, but that's going to take work from us on this board, and it's going to take the community to come forward, not with a handout, but a hand up, to volunteer to make a difference in Ottawa County. It's going to take a lot of work on all of us, all of our parts, whether it be housing, groundwater, CMH decision, transportation. We've got some big issues coming up that we're going to need to address. We're going to all need to be focused on those and make a commitment to be laser focused on those after our strategic planning session in March. One of the greatest analogies I love is those of you, I know we've got at least one farmer on the mix here, and there's probably others who have split wood before. And if you've ever tried to split wood, you know that you need a maul with a sharp point. And if you try to split wood with a sledgehammer, it's not going through. And I bring that to the board that we need to focus on 1, 2, 3 issues, maybe tops, that we're going to be laser focused on so that we can actually make a difference and chop through that wood, whatever it is that we put as our strategic plan and the strategic needs for the county. And then we're all going to have to get behind that and set aside our individual desires and focus as a team to do that. So I look forward to the opportunity to do so and to lead you in the next year. And absolutely, I will be doing this for 1 year and no more, regardless of what the vote or our bylaws say. All right, moving on here. Election of the vice chairperson. I would like to nominate, excuse me, are there any nominations? I'll go last. How about that? Any nominations for vice chair?
Yes, I will again nominate Commissioner Miedema.
All right, any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Phil Kyers.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? A third time, any other nominations? All right, so we have Commissioner Miedema and Commissioner Kyers have been nominated. Would anyone care to make comments?
I'd like to. Go ahead.
I'll be supporting Commissioner Miedema. I didn't know that she was going to be nominated for vice chair. I didn't, obviously your speech mentioned that. I liked a lot of things you said about when your chair nominating speech. And, obviously we have some, factions on this board, and I think having leadership that, represents, that makes some sense, right? So I'll be supporting you for vice chair. And thank you for accepting the nomination for vice chair.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment.
yeah.
I really think I'd fit good into this position after over 20 years of being on the commission and seeing how well it could be run and the fiscal responsibility that we've had over them years and how we made it one of the best counties in the state. And having a new administrator here, I'd really like to work with him and Josh, and I think we'd make a really great team to move forward in the county. So, and I would work with all the other commissioners. So thank you. I'd love your support.
Any other comments? All right, I'll say one word or a couple words here about Phil. When the discussion of me potentially being chair came up, my first thought was Phil Kyers as the vice chair. Phil mentioned it already, his 20 years of experience is monumental. And Phil, don't take this as a critique, but one of my campaign slogans was to bring boring back to Ottawa County. And I think you can help me do that.
I'm good with that. I'll be bored.
All right. Justin, would you take roll?
Yes, sir. All right, we'll just continue as we did with the election of the chair by calling roll. Mr. Zylstra,
Commissioner Miedema.
Mr. Teeples,
Phil Kyers.
Mr. Joritsma,
Bill Kyers.
Mr. Kyers,
Commissioner Kyers.
Mr. Barry,
Commissioner Kyers.
Mrs. Miedema,
Miedema.
Mr. Bonham,
Commissioner Kyers.
Mrs. Rhodey,
Commissioner Miedema.
Mr. Moss,
Miedema.
Mrs. Wenzel,
Commissioner Miedema.
and Mr. Bruger.
Kyers.
All right, congratulations, Mr. Kyers.
Thank you.
You've received the most votes.
All right, it looks like item number 12 is the oath of office. I think, Justin, you're going to take the lead on this. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So we have two oaths to give. One is, of course, for the chair and one is for the vice chair. So
Take it away, sir.
join me at the front here. I can the oath.
Do them together or separate?
Separate. You don't have to share them. Probably best. All right. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this state, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of chairperson of the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners in and for the County of Ottawa and State of Michigan, according to the best of your ability? Absolutely, yes. Congratulations, Mr. Chair. Just get your autograph on that, and then you can pass it back to me. Your vice chair. Neat. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of this state, and that you'll faithfully discharge the duties of the office of vice chairperson of the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners in and for the County of Ottawa, State of Michigan, according to the best of your ability? Some congratulations. You need that back. Oh, sir. Are.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Justin. All right, we've got a,
Before we move on to the action items, can I make a motion to add one item to the action items, or how would you prefer to do that?
you can absolutely make a motion to have
Okay,
one.
appreciate it. So I'm going to be adding a motion to, make a motion to add the remaining organizational businesses to today's agenda, the board rules, committee assignments, and boards and commission appointments. I know traditionally we've done our organizational work at the org meeting. You know, for the board purposes, that includes meeting times, boards and commissions, committee assignments, and board rules. You know, last year we made an exception and did that over the course of the first month, but I really do think that an organizational meeting should encompass those elements. And, I think if we, take a small break, maybe we can get the paperwork in front of us to do that. But again, the motion is to add those items back to today's agenda.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Zylstra. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Miedema. Could you maybe reread the motion just so we all understand what that is, and then we can come on
Sure, the motion is to add,
item H, I suppose, or excuse me, I. I suggest, and that's the last one on there.
Do you want me to read, or do you want the clerk to read it?
I didn't get it
I don't know if
verbatim,
it's
so
forgotten.
Okay,
you would restate your motion.
Didn't
so
necessarily,
we could record it.
yeah, so to add the remaining organizational business to today's agenda, board rules, committee assignments, and boards and commission appointments.
That was seconded by Medema. All right, and if this were added, it would be item I at the end of the meeting. Any discussion?
I can, Mr. Chair.
No, yeah, go ahead. Allison.
I would just, for the matter of what Commissioner Zylstra had said, it has been historical practice to go through rules and establish different committee assignments at our org meeting. And I had sent an email to both Patrick as well as to Chair Teeples at the end of last year, recommending that it take place today because it does help set a great path forward as we continue to work together. And it does leave a lot in limbo for the next couple weeks. Last year, I had different department heads wondering if we were showing up to a meeting, if we weren't showing up to a meeting, if we were still on our different committees, if we were not. There was definitely communication gaps. And so I do believe strongly that board rules, as well as knowing where we're going to be serving, that should be done at this meeting every year. So if it's not done today, I think we should make a very good effort that that takes place starting again for next year. I think it would help us to serve better here in our community, and it gives our staff better understanding of who's serving where, and even us an understanding of what's happening.
Thank you, Commissioner Medema. And any other comments? Teeples, Chair. Boy, it's just Commissioner Teeples now.
So I, with all due respect, I disagree. We can't have we don't want to act imprudent in suggesting that the chairman can simply take a few minutes here, like you suggested, Doug, and make these assessments on who should be in the numerous committees that that the commissioners serve. There's just too many. There's too many thought processes. And so the idea that whoever gets elected now to this position today should spontaneously, even for a few minutes, go back and try to figure out this very complicated process of committee assignments is not a practical solution, right? Yeah, I understand that some committees will have to go without a commissioner for 2 weeks until the new assignments, but that's just how it's got to go, because you can't, until you get the chairman elected, you really can't move forward with those things. So I never looked at it last year as an exception to the protocol. I looked at it like that's the prudent way to go. You can't ask the chairman a lot till you don't know who it's going to be to start looking in advance on these very important issues. So these are not issues that should be happening at the organizational meeting, which is why we went to, I think, January 2nd or 7th last year, and a week or so later, we're doing the same thing here. If we do January 13th, we'll make, I assume that Josh will make those decisions by then. That's plenty of time in my book.
Thank you, Commissioner Teeples.
And it also escalates on an election year. I mean, you just literally can't do it on an election year until after the organizational meeting. So I would say no.
Yeah. Commissioner Moss.
Do we know when our next committee meetings? Oh, that was in the packet, wasn't it?
The proposed calendar for January is to have, I guess you call it the remaining portion of the organizational meeting, if you wish, on the 13th, along with a discussion on board rules, as well as a review of the CMH documents that Dr. Bashirs is going to present to us, I believe, on the 6th, if that's correct, Patrick. Yeah, okay.
May I make a couple more comments just in response to a couple?
One moment, I just want to make sure, Joe, did you have any?
So I see that the committee meetings will be after that meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have some agreement with what you're sharing, Commissioner Teeples. I think during non-election years, I think there's a lot of room for improvement in the conversation, I think Commissioner Zylstra, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I would be in agreement with, is that if we took the time as the chair and the vice chair who are currently in office in, let's say, October, November, in the fall of each year, they could be reaching out to all of us and asking for recommended changes to board rules. Those could be brought forward to administration to work on with administration office to do some redlining. They could be put in this packet. It could be Commissioner so-and-so suggests the following change. Then we have that discussion at this meeting. So those could be done very well during this organizational meeting, and it would help us to move forward. As far as committing assignments, again, during a non-election year, I have a feeling that most of the time, there's not going to be a huge controversy with the changes of those. And so again, I do think that there's validity in having it during this organizational meeting. And again, that work could be done at the end of that calendar year, gathering input from individuals.
Thank you, Commissioner Miedema. Anyone else? All right, and sorry, this is a little bit opposite maybe of what we've had, and I don't know what Joe did, but in my experience on Grand Haven City Council for a number of years, the mayor always spoke last. And so I'm going to do my best to attempt that tradition here. But my position actually aligns a bit with John, and I appreciate the vote of confidence that I might be able to do that and do it well in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but I'm not. I appreciate Commissioner Zylstra making the motion just to get it out there as a discussion point. I'm a little disappointed in having to discuss it because he and I spoke last night while I was in the airport in Miami, and I assured him that this year was not going to happen and I'd be opposed to it personally. But that next year I would definitely
Point out, but I
support
did
it.
tell you I would.
Yeah,
bring
I
it
know
up
you
during-
did. I know you did. So I just getting it out there. I would absolutely be in support of the concept that Commissioner Miedema and Zylstra have presented. I do think in the past, where there was more continuity on prior boards, where the chair, the vice chair traditionally moved into the chair position. If that's the direction that this board takes as we go forward, I think that absolutely provides the opportunity, as Commissioner Miedema has suggested there, but there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. However, we could be prepared for that event to take place. Today, I am not prepared for that personally. Commissioner Moss, I suppose you had known that you were going to be there for 2 years, so you were perhaps prepared to do that. I did not want to be presumptuous to assume that I was going to be sitting in this seat today, so I'll be voting no on that. All right, might as well do roll call on that one because it's an addition to the agenda.
Yes, sir. Mr. Georgezma? No. Mr. Barry?
No.
Mrs. Miedema?
Can you reread the motion, please?
I cannot. I did not get the motion verbatim, but it's somewhere close to unless you would like to read it, Commissioner.
I think it's just a motion to add those 3 elements to the agenda.
Committee assignments and board rules
And boards and commissions.
and boards and commissions to the agenda, making it item I.
I'm going to say no for this year.
Mr. Moss?
No.
Mrs. Rhodey?
Yes.
Mr. Zylstra?
Yes.
Mrs. Wenzel? Mr. Kyers?
No.
Mr. Bonema?
No.
Mr. Teeples?
No.
And Mr. Bruger?
No.
And the motion fails.
All right, thank you. Item, 13 action items. Item A, I'm going to do my best to read these unless anybody wants to take it over for me.
I'll take it over for you.
Thanks, Joe. Go for it.
So the first one is to approve the minutes of the December 18, 2025 Board of Commissioners work session.
So moved.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, motion carries. Item B.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the December 18, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Action item C.
I will make the motion to approve the 2026 Board and Standing Committee meeting times as proposed by staff.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd
Yeah,
like to make a
uh,
motion to add in one BOC meeting per month, February through October.
All right, we've got a motion to add one BOC meeting every month, February
February
through
through October. We're
October.
already in January, and I think, November and December are already holiday months, and I think we're fine with those. They'll be post-budget. But just making sure that, I mean, you can have the exception of the August, because you do have one scheduled there that's sitting next to the committee meetings, but that says if needed.
Doug, let me see if I get a second on that
I
amendment.
will second it for discussion.
All right, thank you, Allison. Go ahead, Doug. Back to you.
Sorry, I was just about finished anyway. Just the idea is that we get, a few more Board of Commission meetings scheduled on the schedule. And I really appreciate staff putting the actual calendar together. It's really helpful. I think, I appreciate the experiment last year, and I think in some senses it worked, but in some senses, we didn't have the bandwidth to handle it, what we wanted to handle. And I know you talked about 2 or 3 items that you'd like to tackle this year. And, I do think we need, to have time together to handle those 2 or 3. And, if we do more than 2 or 3, we'll definitely need that bandwidth. So, the idea is not, to make people meet just to meet, but to have the bandwidth to accomplish what, we set out to do on behalf of residents. So.
All right, thank you, Doug. Any other comments? Allison?
Going along that, I would appreciate having some more on the agenda with the understanding that they can be canceled at any time. One thing that I think would alleviate some special meetings being called. So, for example, the CMH meeting that we had for a special meeting, from my perspective, if we had had one more on the agenda, another Board of Commissioner meeting that was already scheduled, it would not have to be quickly scheduled. And for my schedule, I like to know what's coming up instead of all of a sudden receiving a special meeting request saying that we are having a meeting. And I like organization. I like to know what to expect. I think many of us like to know what to expect. And so I do think we have some really important tasks before us, some important topics, kind of what you have mentioned already, Commissioner Bruger, besides some other ones that may be coming up. And so I do agree with adding on some more meetings.
All right, thank you, Allison. Any other comments? Joe? Both
So
ways.
I'm going to vote no on this current motion, but to add meetings right this second. But I would like to echo that I would, if we're going to have some more meetings, which I think we should, whether they're work sessions or board meetings, if we could get notice, 30 or 60 days in advance, that would be great. And if we know there's going to be some needed, it would be great to have them added to the calendar soon.
Thank you, Joe. Any other comments? John?
Yeah, I hate to make so many comments today. I don't think last year was an experiment, but it worked. Other than the special meeting on CMH that get called, we only had, as I remember, one special meeting that we needed to call all year long that didn't fit into the agenda. And otherwise, we accomplished the work. And those meetings we had, the prior year, the average time was almost 4 hours. Our average time was about 2.5. And we accomplished the work with one meeting a month and maybe 1 or maybe 2 special meetings at most throughout the year. It works. So to put things more to set a schedule and just add dates to it, to me, that just adds bureaucracy that's not needed. That's just how I look at it.
All right, thank you, John. Kendra?
I think it is needed at times, and I would like to see the actual meetings put on there, and they, like Allison said, they can be canceled or taken off, and we don't have to continue adjusting all of the time. If they're just there, we use it. If we don't need it, we don't.
Thank you, Kendra. Anybody else?
I would,
Oh,
I would just agree with Commissioner Moss that I don't know that we necessarily need to add one additional one every month, but I think we do need more heads up. So if things are added, I would appreciate that we get more notice than we've been getting.
thank you. Phil, I think you
Yeah,
really
I prefer work sessions over an added board meeting. So that's my opinion. So I'll be voting no on that.
Well, oh, sorry, anybody else? Jordan, you leaned I'm trying to interpret the meaning. Jim, go ahead.
When we set the schedule last year, there was a certain workflow that went with committee meetings, meeting earlier in the month. So a week gap and give staff a chance to do whatever work needed to be done so that the full board could take action in that in the back half of the month. And I thought that was a system that worked pretty good. I'm open to the idea of scheduling work meetings that we can tackle certain specific issues. I don't know that that's got to be a set in stone regular month at something that's on the schedule. Early notice is always helpful, and we're all busy people, have families and other jobs and everything. But I don't feel we need to put this into the master schedule at this point, but certainly be open to doing work sessions.
Thank you, Jim. Last comment?
I'm just wondering if there might be room for an amended motion to schedule in some work. I'm hearing that there's more agreement to wanting some more meetings to work on purposeful work. And so I'm wondering if we could put 4 quarterly meetings on the calendar today. And we would actually have something to put on our calendars. That's what I'm hearing, that all of you are looking for, that's how you'd like to spend more of your time. I'm just wondering if there's any thoughts on that.
I think just run a moment on that before we amend it.
Is it a motion or?
I just wondered if,
Well,
Yeah, I'll amend mine to include that, or I'm fine with that. I mean, that was actually one of my amendments for the board rules, to add in quarterly work sessions like on the schedule. So if you want to supplant the idea of February through October with a defined 4 work sessions, and we can all propose topics for those work sessions, I think that in large part takes care of, the bandwidth issue, right? I mean, we don't need to meet to approve things if there's nothing to approve. But having additional bandwidth and having that bandwidth on the schedule makes a lot of sense to me, so that commissioners can say, hey, I see there's a work session scheduled for next month. Can you put X on it so we can have that discussion? I think that makes a lot of sense. So if I can, I'll amend my motion to no longer be February through October, but to include 4 established work sessions.
I would
Allison, would you second
second
that?
that.
Okay. I apologize. Before I called on you, Allison, I should have jumped in. But my thoughts are very similar on both. Voting to add those meetings today, I'm not in support of that. However, I am listening very much, and I hear notice is definitely appreciated. I would agree with that. And then having something on the calendar, I guess, maybe far in advance, which is also paired with notice. I would, for me, rather than add it today, I would like to attend our strategic planning session in March. And then from that strategic planning session, if we have 2 or 3 topics that we are going to dive further into as a board, as far as what the committees, what's important to the county, I'd be interested in scheduling dates at that time for those meetings. And perhaps it will come out of the work session that, yes, we want to do this on a quarterly basis or a semi-annual basis. But for me, I would very much like that work session opportunity to discuss this further. That's my take on this. And we have an amendment, so we can go around one more time on that amendment before we take a vote. Anybody else on the amended motion? All right.
Refresh my memory on what the amended motion.
So based on Commissioner Miedema's comments, I amended my motion from February, adding a meeting February through October to adding 4 quarterly work sessions. And I guess that would start with March, and we obviously have a strategic planning meeting, but these would be separate and, starting in March. So going back to the motion, 4 quarterly work sessions on the schedule with the ability for commissioners to offer topics of discussion.
All right. Justin, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Wenzel, Mr. Moss,
No.
Mr. Zylstra,
Yes.
Mr. Kyers,
No.
Mrs. Rhodey,
No.
Mrs. Miedema,
Yes.
Mr. Jorsma,
No.
Mr. Teeples,
No.
Mr. Bonema,
No.
Mr. Barry,
No.
and Mr. Bruger.
No.
And the motion fails.
All right, so we are back to the original motion, which is to approve the 2026 board and standing committee times as proposed by staff. Any further discussion on that? Allison?
Yes, can you please explain, there's a couple of them that have a board of, at least one that has a board of commissioners scheduled immediately following committees. And I'm trying to re-find it. Hang on.
And Patrick may be able to help us on that as
Yeah,
staff's
I can
recommendation.
walk you through, there's 8, I'll call them adjustments, that are being proposed to. Most of those are to avoid scheduling conflict. So I'll go through the first one, which is the February 26th change. That's to avoid the NACO conference. The next one is the April 30th. That is to avoid the MAC conference. The next one is May 19th. That is to avoid Memorial Day, which falls on the 25th. So your meeting would normally be on the 26th, the day after. The next one, August 11th, that is a contingency meeting in the event that the Parks millage does not pass. We would be able to set another meeting to have that back on the agenda or back on the ballot for the fall. The next one, September 15th, is to avoid Labor Day, which falls on the 7th. Your meeting would normally be on the 8th. The next one, same with, those are the committees, 15th on the committee meetings. The Board of Commissioners on November 17th is to avoid Thanksgiving, which falls on the 26th. You would normally meet on the 24th. And then finally, December 15th is to avoid Christmas. You would normally meet on the 22nd. So those are why those amendments are being proposed.
Okay, thank you for the explanation on that one. Go ahead, Allison.
A quick question, Patrick. So the August dates, are we having two Board of Commissioner meetings, or just one?
That August 11th is the if needed. That will allow you to put the Parks millage back on the ballot should it fail in
Okay,
May.
I understand that. I guess I'm just wondering if we would automatically for sure still meet on the 25th to go over the work that we just completed on that morning from Finance and Planning and Policy, because typically we have a couple weeks in between, which allows us a little bit more time to dig into topics and
Yeah,
whatnot.
we would recommend keeping the meeting on the 25th to take the committee meeting recommendations in.
Okay,
That meeting on the 11th would just really be to deal with the millage if needed.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I would just point out too that in August and September, sometimes additional meetings are needed due to the budget process. So I personally would appreciate, I know we don't always have those dates right now, but just as soon as
Yeah.
possible, if additional meetings
Sure.
are needed.
Anybody else? All right, was there a motion to change it, or was it just a point of clarification? Okay, all right. Actually, I don't think we need a roll call on this one. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, motion carries. Item D, resolution establishing depositories of public monies. Go for it, Joe.
Okay, to approve and authorize the board chairperson and clerk register to sign a resolution enabling the Ottawa County Treasurer to deposit all public funds in approved financial institutions and execute any necessary contracts for the same for the benefit of Ottawa County.
Support. Got a motion and support. Any discussion? All right. Do we need a roll call on this one, Justin?
Yes, sir.
All right, take it away.
Mr. Bonema,
Yes.
Mr. Georgezma,
Yes.
Mr. Teeples,
Yes.
Mrs. Miedema,
Yes.
Mrs. Wenzel, Mr. Barry,
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey,
Yes.
Mr. Moss,
Yes.
Mr. Zylstra,
Yes.
Mr. Kyers.
Yes.
And Mr. Brug.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. I checked it off already. Apologies. Item E, resolution regarding investment of surplus funds.
A motion to approve and authorize the board chairperson and clerk register to sign a resolution enabling the Ottawa County Treasurer to invest and reinvest surplus funds in compliance with the current Ottawa County investment policy and to execute any necessary contracts for the same.
Support. Got a motion and support. Any discussion?
Yes, I would just love to hear from our treasurer a little bit on this one.
You came all the way up here just for this moment, didn't you?
Yes, thank you. So this resolution authorizes the county treasurer to invest and reinvest the county's surplus funds following Public Act 20 and the Ottawa County's investment policy, which is approved by the Board of Commissioners. It also states that the county treasurer shall regularly report the investments to the Administration and Finance Committee, which I do every month.
All right, thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
All right, do we need a roll call vote on this one, Justin?
Sure, I think
All right.
any resolution will.
Allison will have to yell where she's coming.
So,
I'll take it. Mr. Kyers. Moss.
Yes.
Mrs. Medema. Mrs. Wenzel. Mr. Barry.
Yes.
Mr. Zylstra.
Yes.
Mr. Teeples.
Yes.
Mr. Bonema.
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey.
Yes.
Mr. Georgezma.
Yes.
And Mr. Bruger.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Item F, resolution regarding deposit of drainage district funds.
Motion to approve and authorize the board chairperson and clerk register to sign a resolution authorizing the Ottawa County Treasurer to deposit and invest drain funds in identified financial institutions and execute necessary related contracts for the benefit of the Ottawa County Water Resources Commissioner.
Support.
Got a motion and a support. Cheryl, you're there. Might as well go for it first.
Okay, this resolution provides the treasurer's office with the authority to deposit and invest drainage district funds with institutions listed in that the first resolution that you passed, establishing depositories of public monies according to Public Act 20 and the Ottawa County's investment policy.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Mhm.
Any further comments or questions? All right, Justin, take it away.
Yes, sir. Mr. Teeples.
Yes.
Mr. Zylstra.
Yes.
Mr. Kyers.
yes.
Mr. Barry.
Yes.
Mr. Moss.
Yes.
Mr. Georgezma.
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey.
Yes.
Mrs. Medema.
Yes.
Mr. Bonema.
Yes.
Mrs. Wenzel.
Yes.
And Mr. Bruger.
Yes.
The motion passes.
All right, thank you. Item G, resolution regarding deposit of road commission funds.
A motion to approve and authorize the board chairperson and clerk register to sign a resolution authorizing the Ottawa County Treasurer to deposit and invest road commission funds in identified financial institutions and execute related necessary contracts for the benefit of the Ottawa County Road Commission.
Motion and a support.
So
Cheryl?
this is like the drainage district funds resolution. It's giving the treasurer's office the authority to deposit and invest the road commission funds.
Thank you. Anybody else? Questions? All right, Justin, take it away.
Mr. Zylstra.
Yes.
Mr. Teeples.
Yes.
Mr. Georgezma.
Yes.
Mr. Kyers.
Yes.
Mr. Barry.
Yes.
Mrs. Medema.
Yes.
Mr. Bonema.
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey.
Yes.
Mr. Moss.
Yes.
Mrs. Wenzel.
Yes.
And Mr. Bruger.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, one more. Item H, resolution regarding tax credits for certain qualified persons.
A motion is to approve and authorize the board chairperson and clerk register to sign a resolution authorizing the Ottawa County Treasurer to waive administration fees and interest for real property taxes paid prior to May 1 by qualified persons as set forth in the resolution.
Got a motion? Is there a second?
Support.
Got a race on that one. You can decide who gets it, Justin. Cheryl, hello.
Hi, so this is what is called a tax deferment. So this provides those who qualify the ability to use their tax credit from the state of Michigan to pay their property tax bills without incurring fees and interest. The process for this actually begins with the property owner requesting a summer tax deferment from their township or their city where their property is located, and then a summer tax deferment will defer the payment on their summer tax bill until February 15, which is when their winter tax bill is due. Then they would go to the township or the city where their property is located and ask for a deferment of their winter taxes, which would give them until the end of February. Then this takes place with us starting collections of those taxes in March. So this would give us, the treasurer's office, the authority to give them a tax deferment from March until May 1, which is usually when you would get your taxes back from the state of Michigan. So then people can use those taxes to pay their property taxes.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl.
Mhm.
I have a question, but I'll,
Okay. I would also like to say that this resolution provides us with the authority to give it to senior citizens, paraplegics, quadriplegics, eligible service persons, eligible veterans, eligible widows of veterans, totally and permanently disabled and blind persons.
Pretty sure you're going to get a positive vote on this.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out. Allison, go ahead.
Mine is overall on all of these, so do you want to do yours first?
No, you go right ahead.
Okay. Just had an overall question when it mentions the identified financial institutions. Has that by and large chart changed a lot since last year? Or are you still using the same financial institutions, or has that
Did add a
changed a
few.
lot?
We did add a few.
Okay.
Yes. As banks merge, we remove the ones that are no longer in business. And then if we have come across new banks, then we will add them. We do not invest with all of the banks that are listed. We just keep them on the list in case there's ever an opportunity for us to invest with them in the future. Then they are already approved by you.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Anyone else? All right. My one question was regarding this item. How does someone in a financial situation or hardship where they might need to take advantage of this opportunity know that this opportunity exists?
I'm hoping that they are paying attention to this, to this meeting and our discussion on this, because not a lot of people know about it. And I want them to know that they have this opportunity. When I was the treasurer at Robinson Township, I included it in our newsletter that I included with the tax bills. I'm not sure that the townships or cities do that now. I would encourage them to do that if they don't. This is something that is very helpful. And I know when I was at the township as the treasurer there, I had probably only 5 that took advantage of this. And I think it could really help out more than that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I think, look to Patrick as well, if there's anything we can do at the county level to advocate. And I think it actually is incumbent upon us as commissioners
Right.
when we go out in our communities, give updates to city councils and township supervisors and so forth to let them know about this plan. So thank you for bringing it to our attention. Yeah.
And one more thing on that too.
Yeah.
If there happens to be any information that you already have put together, if you could email that to us, that
Sure, I will
would
do
really
that.
help us
Yeah.
share it. Thank you.
I'd be happy to do that.
Kendra.
Are they going to do a podcast for Ottawa Out Loud as well that we could share?
Oh, that's a good idea. We could do that. Mhm.
We love to press share on those.
Yeah. I think the time to do it would be before the summer tax bills are sent out. So probably August would be a good time to do it.
That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah. One last
Just
comment.
recommend that maybe Patrick, if you could work with communications to make sure that that gets put on when she gives our monthly updates to share out with our municipalities, maybe she could put that on key months for us. And that could be brought forward. That'd be great.
No.
Right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, Justin, would you call roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Georgezman,
Yes.
Mr. Berry, Mrs. Medema,
Yes.
Mr. Moss,
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey,
Yes.
Mr. Zylstra.
Yes.
Mrs. Wenzel, Mr. Kyers,
Yes.
Mr. Bonema,
Yes.
Mr. Teeples,
Yes.
and Mr. Bruger.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right, item I on our committee, by the way, Joe, thank you for reading those. Appreciate that very much. Public comment. This is the second call to the public. Let us know if there's anybody online, but if you would like to approach, please direct your comments to the chair. That's strange, that's me. Keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Thank you.
My name is Michael Kuras. I reside in Spring Lake Township. As most of you know, I pay a lot of attention to rules, policies, and procedures. It's important to me because the rule of law is so important to me. And I'm really pleased at the progress the board has made in paying attention to that. So in that context, I'd like to point out, you never adopted an agenda. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else?
Sheila Detloff, Holland Township. I would just like to ask you all to make a New Year's resolution to speak directly into your microphones during these meetings. I know that online it picks up better. If they all worked as well as this one did right here, we'd probably be good. But there are quite a few of you that it's really difficult to hear in the gallery. Thanks.
Thank you, Sheila. We will do our best. Anyone else?
My name is Doug Clambo. I live in Park Township, Holland, Michigan. According to the County Board of Commissioners of the United States, follow a very consistent seating pattern. Commissioners all seated in the front, of course, facing their audience. According to the common order, begins with the chairperson seated in the center and the vice chair immediately to the right or left. For just future reference, I would hate to see that any future audience or YouTube audience would get the impression that either Commissioner Moss or Commissioner Wendell are vice chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Anyone else?
Hi, Chantal Martineau, Park Township. Happy New Year and congratulations, Commissioner Bruger, for your new chairmanship. Commissioner Chair Bruger used the phrase "a hand up, not a handout" during his opening remarks. And I would just like to urge you all to consider the implications of that phrase and also your role as members of the government and what the government actually does. My understanding is that the purpose of the county government is basically, and government in general, is basically to provide services to its constituents. And obviously, or it seems obvious that a hand up is preferable to just giving charity, and that you may have to repeat over and over because the person the person who is in need is not able to better themselves with a simple handout. But I would like you to consider the idea that people who live in dire poverty, the thing that they need most is to not be in poverty, i.e. to have more money to solve their problems. And what the county provides people is things like public health and community mental health. And I would posit that those are, in fact, really more closely described as handouts than hand-ups, because it is something that they need to receive, perhaps for the rest of their lives in the case of people with mental disabilities. So I would just like you to take a fresh look at your role in society in the coming year. Thank you.
Chantal, thank you. Anyone else? Is there anyone online? All right, we'll close the public comment. Commissioner comments. Let's start with Jim. I looked at you last, so why don't you go first?
Happy New Year and congratulations, Commissioner Berger and Kyers. It's a new year, a second year for me on the County Board of Commissioners. Just want to say I've really enjoyed my time on the board, find it extremely interesting. And I'm looking forward to this year with the strategic planning process and just moving forward with the county. And I'm very optimistic for 2026.
Thank you, Jim. Jordan.
Yeah, I would echo that. I'm really excited about this year. Want to congratulate Chair Bruger and Vice Chair Kyers. Looking forward to working with you. Looking forward to working with everyone on the board. I think we can do some great stuff this year. So I'll leave it at that.
Doug.
Yeah, likewise, I want to say thank you, or say congratulations to Chair Bruger and Vice Chair Kyers. And I'm looking forward to the next year as well. I also want to say thank you to the commissioners who reached out to discuss my candidacy. Jordan, and Phil, and Allison, and Jim. That was very nice of you. And also to the residents who reached out to their commissioners on my behalf. That was appreciated as well. So, yeah.
I'm excited for the new year. There's a lot of good things going on in Ottawa County, and I hope that we as a commission can really continue to spotlight some of those things. I know Scott and the media department is doing a really good job as well. So I think we've got momentum. So let's keep it rolling.
Love it. Joe.
Yeah. Happy New Year all, and looking forward to this year. Golden Age is here, and I'm excited for Ottawa County. That's all.
Sounds good. Thank you, Joe. How about to Allison?
Yeah, Happy New Year to each of you, and congrats to Commissioner Bruger and Commissioner Kyers for chair and vice chair. And Just would like to put out there, I respect the decision from the board today for our chair and vice chair, and I just want to put myself out there again to be considered to chair planning policy or finance administration. So without getting enough votes to put me into the vice chair role, just wanted to put it myself out there for that. And then just wanted to share a little bit what I had published on my commissioner Facebook page on December 31. Basically for those maybe who are listening and are not engaged on Facebook, that was also shared from Ottawa County with about veterans. And so one highlight from this past year included increasing the bandwidth of our Veteran Services Department. We designated as a board collectively, July officially is Ottawa County Veteran Month. The Veterans Department had 70 plus outreach efforts. They had their first ever Veterans Job Fair. They served over 200 veterans at the second annual Veterans Stand Down and Resource Fair. They launched Legacy Link to better support senior veterans and their spouses. And these highlights represent only part of the work happening every day to strengthen veteran support across our county. So that's just a little bit of great work that is happening, and I am appreciative of all of this board's support for veterans.
Thank you, Allison. Phil.
Yes, congratulations, Commissioner Bruger. And thank you for your support from Vice Chair. Happy New Year, and I look forward to this coming year. So thank you.
All right. Sylvia.
Yes. So happy New Year. And I just want to congratulate you, Chair Bruker and Commissioner Kyers on your new leadership roles. I do believe that both of you really have the best interests of the county at heart, and you both work very hard in your position. So I appreciate that. I guess I would just like to challenge you both on a couple things. Commissioner Kyers, we had asked you when you were running for a spot with the MAC conference, how you would handle times when you perhaps might disagree with those in leadership. And your response was that, you know, it would not be your position to really buck something that you disagreed with, but that you would go along with, you know, the governor or the president who was in charge, and that your role would be to support that effort. And so I just want to challenge you both that in bringing boring back, that not mean blanketly following unwise leaders. You know, whether that's President Trump, who I personally, you know, do agree with, and I appreciate his leadership, but I don't always agree with Governor Whitmer and her leadership. And so I would just challenge you to be careful to not blanketly follow other government structures if they are, you know, doing things that are unwise. I think, as we all know, when this board did that in the past, it actually led to some very unboring times. And, you know, and so I just challenge you to please use your discretion and your discernment as you lead this county. And again, I believe you both work incredibly hard, and you have the best interests of the county at heart. And so, you know, my hope is that going forward, we can work together and do what's best.
Thank you, Sylvia. John.
Well, first of all, congratulations, Josh and Phil. I agree that I think you guys are going to do great for the county. I also, like Jim mentioned, the word optimism. I totally agree. I really think, and I know Joe has expressed this point too, that we have some really good days ahead as a county, and I appreciate the diversity on the board of opinions. I'm not afraid of conflict or disagreement. I just think we can really do some good things when we debate, and I'm confident we'll debate, and I'm confident the county will be better off. I just feel really good about where we're going as a county. So that's all.
Thank you, Kendra.
Happy New Year to Ottawa County. And I'm looking forward to this entire year, actually. I wanted to touch on VA, and I think you touched on everything for veteran services. So that was it for me.
Thank you, Kendra. Just close us out. Scott's in the back. My wife saw the promo video of today's meeting, and I hope it lived up to the hype. I think a couple of comments regarding the public comment that was made. Michael, thank you for pointing that out. We'll duck our heads on that one. And then the comment about a hand up and a handout, absolutely. There are certain times when a handout is what folks need. I do see that as well. But I don't want to forget that we can do a hands up as a local government and focus on that and do some good things for the county. And then, yes, the seating arrangement will likely change at the next meeting. So those are the comments there. Last thing, I'm not sure if our motto, or excuse me, our mission statement for the year is going to be focus forward or boring government. We'll see what plays out. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you all.